Turn out the lights, grab your goat, get a drink. Where's your wand? Because it is time for the Witches Movie Coven. I just knew it. I'm sorry. I just got excited by that. I am Negri. I am one of your hosts of the Witches Movie Coven. Thank you guys for coming. Tell your friends, bring them along. You might know me from my regular Witching Hour podcast, or from Ghost Adventures, or from any other reality TV show who needs to talk to ghosts. I am there. But this is where I am on Wednesdays. I'm proud to be here. So let me pass this on to some of my beautiful fellow co-hosts. Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Greene. I am the author of Lights, Camera, Witchcraft. I have it right here. I'm going to hold it up. The definitive guide to witchcraft and witches in American movies and television, right there. I'm also a journalist and an editor at Llewellyn Worldwide, working with wonderful occult authors on all kinds of subjects. And today is my birthday, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys celebrating my birthday with my favorite coven.
Yay! And we are going to sing happy birthday with all of you over and over and over. We're already arguing. Okay, Courtney.
That's me. I'm Courtney Buckley. I'm Ghostbait on Scared and Alone. I'm very excited to be here to celebrate Heather's birthday. And in honor of that, I'm going to try not to say bad things about the movie that Heather picked. We'll see how that goes.
My finger's already on the light switch right here.
We will see how it goes.
Let's move down to the devil himself, Richard-Lael.
Hello, I am Richard-Lael. Richard-Lael is one name, not two. If I were just Richard, I would be a... With that, tonight, as you see, I have got miles and miles of heart because I am paying homage to Mr. Applegate himself, my favorite Martian, the devil. I am seen on Ghost Adventures. I teach at University Magicus. I am here in New Orleans. I do seances and I do all kinds of magical, wonderful things. And I am glad to be here to celebrate the lovely Heather's lovely birthday. We are so grateful that she is here.
Yes, we are. And on her birthday, she picked our movie. In our movie, if you see a little bit of a theme around here is Willow's outfit, but Willow's on a play date. We have Yankee Ken. We have Yankee Barbie because we are doing Damn Yankees. Yes, I'm going to hold back everything for down. We're doing Damn Yankees. Now, I can hope everybody's seen it. It's been around since 1958. So you've all hopefully seen it. But for those who haven't seen it, Richard-Lael, you have an unbiased synopsis of this lovely film?
I do have an unbiased synopsis of this lovely film. So if you are familiar with the classic story of Faust, this is only partially like that. It is a story about a deal made with the devil and a lovely woman, and the what happens when one must make a choice, and then of course either redemption or destruction, as was the case of the original Faust. Now, in this one, it is slightly different because it's a modern day retelling, and that you saw right there was Tab Hunter, the squeaky clean in 1958 Tab Hunter, and he plays Barefoot Joe from Hannibal Mo, which is what Taya was saying there. So what happens is he's this older gentleman who loves baseball, and he does not like the damn Yankees, unlike these two lovely ladies over here who do love the damn Yankees. And so he roots for his team, the Washington Senators, and he wants so badly for his team to win, but he is old and he cannot play, and he's an armchair baseball player, and he makes an unwittingly off-the-cuff remark about selling his soul to the devil in exchange for being able to play baseball. And lo and behold, my favorite Martian himself, Mr. Applegate, aka the devil, comes in, and nobody else can see him. And he says, okay, well, let's just shake on it. There's no contracts. What do you have to do? Sign it in blood? And so he becomes this young, good-looking Tab Hunter. And unfortunately, that means that the old man must disappear, and he must leave his wife abandoned for an indeterminate amount of time. And so this young baseball player from Hannibal Moe ends up by playing for the Washington Senators, and they win everything. But the devil has decided that in order to break up the happy home, where of course Joe is in love with his wife, he's so in love with his wife, and he wants to go back that he actually becomes a boarder in her house, and he wants so badly to be with her, but the devil says, okay, I've got to break this up. I don't want him being pulled back in. And I'm going to introduce him to the most unattractive woman I can think of, especially when she comes in as Lola and she does this. With a flower pot on her head. And of course, Joe wants nothing to do with her because Tab Hunter is gay, but also because she's the most unattractive woman. She was, you find out that this unattractive woman, who is now supposed to be this beautiful, drop-dead gorgeous woman, was once the ugliest woman in Providence, Rhode Island. You find that she also made a deal with the devil and made her only slightly less unattractive than she was before. But nonetheless, she does fall in love with Joe, but Joe, of course, wants desperately to be with his wife, and he stays because he doesn't want to be his name to be sullied. The devil says he'll make him disappear. Joe will take the fall. They'll say that he was a scammer and he was a fraud, and he can't do that. He can't do that because it'll cause so much chaos. And so in a fit of rage, the devil then turns him after the last game, which he was given some drugs and overslept because the devil is clearly mortal and lives in Donald Trump's penthouse. All of that dictator chic gold, fake gold Louis XIV furniture, which obviously from looking out the window was inside the Washington Monument, neither here nor there. But at the end, Joe comes home. He's old. He's been turned back old. He comes back in and the woman says, "Where have you been, Joe? Where have you been?" Oh, I can't tell you because it was a secret mission. And then the devil comes in and says, "Oh, well, you can go on to win the World Series and I'll give it back to you. And I'll give all of this. I'll give you what you desire." But instead he listens to his wife and he says, "Please, if you'll have me back, I will be here with you. Just tell me about us. Tell me about us. Tell me about us." The end roll credits. That's about it.
Now.
Oh
boy. Thank you, Richard-Lael. For if anybody didn't see the movie, you still haven't. Let's move on to Heather, our more academic telling of this film, perhaps something from your book.
Yes, it is in my book, and actually I mention it, reference it frequently in some of my workshops. But what I'm going to do, as I've been doing recently, is list 5 of the most important things that you need to know about this film. Just some tidbits and some fun stuff. So number 1, why damn Yankees? Number 2 is the source material, some of which has been mentioned already. Number 3, I've got to find, because I have a list here. Oh, the cast. I'm going to mention a few tidbits about the cast that are interesting. And then number 4, about the crew. And then number 5, let's talk about Lola the Witch. Some people have been commenting on her already, as well as Richard-Lael's commentary on her. So let's start with why damn Yankees. Number 1. This is going to be a little baseball trivia for you sports fans out there. Are you ready? So why did they call it the damn Yankees? Why was there a film that's whole plot point was to upend and stop the Yankees from winning? Well, let's just start with 27 World Series titles since their inception. The Yankees today are considered the winningest team in American sports. Courtney, commentary is unnecessary at this point. We will not talk about the Boston Red Sox at any point in this showcase. So anyway, the Yankees have won 27 World Series titles. And as I said, in any sports, they are considered the most winningest. Now, in the 1950s, which when this movie came out, they were on a roll. Okay, they were unstoppable. They won the World Series in 50, 51, 52, 53, 56, 58, 60, and 62. So it's not surprising that somebody produced a content, art content, pop culture that would want to upend this rally. They wanted to stop it. You know, fans, everybody, Boston Red Sox fans especially, right, Courtney?
Correct.
Right. So there you go. So this is why what's also interesting about this is I went to look because they didn't win 54 and 55 around when this whole damn Yankees musical started to see if it was the Washington Senators, not the Nationals, that won. But no, it was two other New York teams, the Dodgers and the Giants, that won those 2 years. So New York dominated. Sorry, Courtney. And the other point at this point with baseball, which I think is also interesting, and because I all want you to go out to your local trivia locations and win tonight or tomorrow, is that they mentioned Shoeless Joe from Hannibal Moe. It's one of the songs in there. Well, Shoeless Joe is a reference to Shoeless Joe Jackson, which was another case, a real case of baseball, the White Sox through the game against the Cincinnati Reds, and it was a gambling thing. And so there was another baseball historical reference here that was happening. So now you guys are all ready with your baseball trivia. The Black Sox scandal, yes, that was in the 20s. And let me move now to number 2. We'll move out of sports and go to content. I'm sorry, not content, but the source material. So Richard-Lael already mentioned Faust. This is a Faust story. Not a lot of witch films are based in Faust stories, and there's reasons for that, because most witches are women, and when a woman makes a pact with the devil, it looks very different than when a man makes a pact. These are two different mythologies, legends, stories we tell ourselves within narrative cinema. We don't get a lot of witch films with the Faust legend. This one is one of them. But notice the witch is secondary. She's not part of the Faust story. She's part of the occult addition. She's an add-on, let's say. I won't get into any more of that, but we have seen other Faust stories. We've talked about Crossroads. We've talked about Angel Heart. Those are other Faust stories. And I can get into all kinds of nerding out on why that is, but I'll leave it at that for now. Other sources, original novel was called The Year the Yankees Lost the Pennant. It was published in 1954. Ironically, it was published in September. The Yankees actually lost 1954 World Series that October, which is kind of funny. I'm nerdy like that. I love these facts. It was not a very popular, but then it turned around into the next source, number 3, the play, which was released on Broadway in 1955. Another year the Yankees did not win the pennant that year. And it won 7 Tony Awards, including Best Actor, Best, I think it was the choreography, just a whole number of things. 7 Tony Awards plus other nominations. It went on to London. It went on to be revived in the 90s. There was another movie in the 60s. This was a very popular musical on Broadway. It was a very popular movie when it came out in 1958. So that's the source material for that. Now, number 3, the cast. We have to talk about, first of all, did anyone see Jean? Why my brain is stopping. Jane, come on. Hold on. I have
Edith Bunker.
Edith Bunker, thank you. But for some reason I'm losing her real name.
Edith Bunker.
Yes, they would notice Edith Bunker. She's one of the best parts of this movie. She's fantastic, and she was in there. We also had some real Yankees showing up. I'm losing my mind with all these names are swimming in my head. We had Mickey Mantle was number 7 who hit the ball that went out and he caught at the end. So we had those guys. Yogi Berra shows up. You had a number. Gene Stapleton. I'm sorry. There you go. Finally came to me. Gene Stapleton actually was in the Broadway cast of this show. And what's interesting is most of the people in this film were in the Broadway cast, the original one that won the Tonys, except Tab Hunter. Tab Hunter was not. And what's interesting about that is that the producers actually acquired this property from Broadway to produce as a film, specifically to be a vehicle for Tab Hunter. Tab Hunter was a hot commodity at the time. He was a teen heartthrob. Everybody wanted him. This was meant for Tab Hunter, this movie. Okay. So, and the interesting thing about Tab Hunter, there he is. He was perfect. Everybody loved him. Of course, it didn't come out until shortly before he passed. He actually admitted and talked about his sexuality, which he hid all those years. And he was in a relationship with Anthony Perkins, who's most famous for
Psycho.
So he was one of the many actors of the time that had to hide their sexuality. And what's lovely about that, a little nerd trivia here, is 1958 was also the release of Bell Book and Candle, which is an allegory for that actual experience that many of the LGBT people had at that time. So it's kind of just a little witch irony. So that's Tab Hunter. There's lots more to talk about him, but I'm going to move on to the crew. We have to mention that the Adler and Ross, who did the musical, who won Tonys, Ross actually died shortly after the musical was released on Broadway, sadly. And the two of them who also did the successful Pajama Game, which I can't stand, is also, they were very successful in both, but never got to do anything else. Another person in the crew we need to talk about is Fosse. I'm sure we can talk about those wonderful dance moves that we saw.
Especially at the club scene in the end.
They're all early Fosse moves. Fosse is someone who has very distinctive style. If you love dance, if you love Broadway, you have seen Fosse. Fosse is most notable for Broadway shows like Chicago and Pippin. He did Cabaret on film, if you've ever seen Cabaret. There are very distinct Fosse moves that you will know if you are into Broadway, and if you're a dancer, you will have done all that jazz. Yeah, jazz hands, everything. We can talk about whether that worked in this film or not later. And number 5, Lola the Witch. Everything she gets, wants she gets, right? That is a classic song. A lot of people know it. They don't know that it's part of the show. Gwen Verdon originated it. She's a fantastic Broadway actress. And what's interesting about this here is that during the 1950s, this is not yet a time when modern witchcraft movement has blended with Hollywood's understanding of witchcraft. This is a classic rendition of the mythological witch, stemming from all of the lore coming back. Make a pact with the devil. You get to be pretty, you get to do, and then you have to serve the devil. This is a classic version. There's so much packed into this in terms of the way misogyny works in the film, way women are represented. I have so much to say on that I'm not going to be able to parse it down into this. This is what one of the parts my book is about, is looking at that. And she is the classic witch, what women are not supposed to be, seductresses, all of those things. And I use her frequently when I talk about witches and witches' bodies and the women's bodies and the way they were represented in Hollywood at this time. So that is some of the stuff. I will let it go, move on, and we can talk about whether we loved this movie or not.
Thank you very much. I love you, Heather.
We can talk about this forever. You got to shut me up.
No. This is beautiful. I'm going to go first because this, I would say my entire life, I've always said this was my favorite movie. I'm old enough that when I used to run home from school, and I'm talking like first grade, they would play an afternoon movie every day at 3:00, the same movie all week. They didn't change it up. They'd play it. And a lot, they played Damn Yankees. Mom would tell me Damn Yankees. I would run home from school. I would sit in front of that television. I was mesmerized. I was mesmerized by the devil, by the witch, by the dance. I think that's why I went into dance. Literally, this movie. Baseball. The moving of those baseball players, their cute little choreography was so cute in their little baseball shoes. I last night watched this as a complete 7-year-old. I grinned ear to ear. Yes, you see all that's wrong with it, the misogyny and all that, and I mean, the faces, Richard-Lael, she's a Broadway actor. Maybe they hadn't figured out yet that you pull it back for television and film. You pull it back. Broadway.
I mean, I haven't seen such overreacting since the silent era.
Well, anyways, we're going. I know it was a little much, but oh my God, it's Gwen Verdon. Oh my God, the girl, she can move, the dancing, and again, I think back 58 was a long time ago. This was kind of racy, I think, for that day and age, and I could not watch it as an adult woman. I watched the entire thing from beginning to end as this joyous, glorious 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old year after year. And I hadn't seen it in a long time. So it's a perfect movie. That's it.
Let me just jump in. It was censored from the Broadway dancing was censored for the Hollywood film because of it was too racy. It's even racy then. I was surprised. And it actually, when they released the movie in London, they changed it, or in the UK, they changed the name from Damn Yankees to What Lola Wants because of the word damn. So
wild. Okay, so who wants to talk, Courtney?
Me, obviously.
Yeah.
Let me preface, I have a couple stipulations before I talk. One, Heather, I love you so much. 2, I don't care about baseball, but it feels like as a Bostonian, I cannot not boo the Yankees because it just feels sacrilegious, or like I might get in trouble if I leave my house. So, but I couldn't care less about baseball at all. So in honor of this being, let me see. In honor of this being for Heather's birthday, I decided not to write down criticisms and instead wrote down questions that I had while watching this movie. To be fair, I mean, I have a lot here, but
You can criticize the movie. I didn't make it. I don't care.
Well, this is quotes and questions. This is all my notes. To be fair, though, I'm not going to say fall asleep in self-defense, but I did disassociate real hard towards the last like 30 minutes of the movie. So I am grateful for Richard-Lael's synopsis, unbiased synopsis, because I feel like I finished it. So my questions, beginning with, why is that man diving out of the chair like that? Because in the beginning, when he's yelling at the television, he goes from sitting to like laying down in the chair very dramatically. So I was like, oh, is this, we're setting the stage for this?
I am married to somebody who does that. I am married to somebody who does that. Yell at the television, slide, catch the ball, scream at your team, scream at the other team, tell them what to do. I am married to that person.
The yelling, I understand. It was the going from like sitting up to like laying down in one fell movement.
Slide into home. You slide in.
He's sitting in an armchair. He's not on the baseball field. Anyway, I said, why is he still alive after continuously calling his wife old girl? Why is he sweating so profusely? Then why is his name Applegate, and why did my phone autocorrect that to AppleCare?
Well, I can answer the Applegate part, but the AppleCare, I think I can also answer. So AppleCare, because iPhone is an idiot. Secondly, also because the apple and the bite represent the same thing that the apple represented in the Garden of Eden. It's supposed to represent a bite out of knowledge. And so Applegate, meaning the gateway to knowledge. It was the apple that was supposed to be the downfall of Adam and Eve. And so therefore it was the gateway to knowledge.
Beautiful. Now I know. Then I wrote, why is AppleCare smiling like that? And then that continued to be a question the whole time, because he would just be like normal, and then he'd be like, and I was like, oh, okay, great.
But yes,
that was not sure, but
he's the devil, but he's also my favorite Martian. So you would really have to have gone back to 1953 to have seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would get it, because he was always kind of creepy.
Yeah, he looked like a predator of a different kind, so I was concerned. I said, I asked why. Oh, the two ladies that were, or the whoever they were asking why he was talking out loud to himself. Why did they almost get hit by a car going 1 mile an hour? Why is making a deal with the devil the nerdiest double handshake ever? Because that was a lot. And then again, I questioned, why does this man keep calling his wife old girl? Why do they keep calling each other Mac?
It's the 50s.
Yeah,
All of
That's
this
right,
is the
Mac.
50s.
Yeah.
Old girl too.
Then I dropped the questions because then I just wrote down the Book of Fond Memories and the Good Old Days song, because that was a lot, but also that's my favorite part because that was a lot. So those are my notes. Did I like it? It's I'm clear, unbiased. I just had some questions that I needed answered.
You can hate it. It's my birthday, but I can take it. I've had worse. You
I
don't
know.
have to love this movie for me. I want you to be your authentic self. That makes me the happiest on my birthday.
My authentic self loves and respects you so much that if I were to share my actual thoughts about this, I would have to apologize for every day for the rest of my life. So
now I'm even more curious. Just let it go, Courtney. Tell us you hated the movie.
If I ever have to watch something from the 50s ever again, I swear I will curse everyone who makes me watch it, because what was this? None of the songs were good. You want to talk about dancing? Where was the dancing? It was so uncomfortable to look at. Everything was terrible. I literally sat there and disassociated, and then I was like, I can't do this. I have to shower. I have to shower my sins away after having to watch this ridiculous movie. There you go. You're welcome.
These two.
You're welcome.
Invasion of the Saucer
That was my
Men.
birthday present.
Invasion of the Saucer Men. The Forbidden Planet, 1959. The King and I. These are all really good ones. I mean, I don't really love this one as much. I don't care about baseball. I never did. But you might like this, Courtney. And this is one thing you did maybe miss, is that even if you don't care for baseball, the devil wears red socks. Clearly, he is on your side. Clearly.
I noticed the red socks. I thought it was pretty funny that that was like the signifier, that and the red tie was the signifier that he was the devil. I didn't even think to make the connection because, again, I don't actually care about the Red Sox, but it is what it is. I think it was just the trifecta of things that I did not like, and then I was uncomfortable that I had to watch it.
The dancing? You didn't like the dancing?
They didn't dance. They didn't even do anything.
They're like, geez, that cool hip beatnik.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, pop a hip.
Beatnik one at the end. I loved when they were in the bar at the end, and they were drinking, and everyone was. I thought that one was very Fosse-esque and beautiful. The rest of them, I've got heart, was annoying, and the reprise of Edith Bunker, he's got heart, was also equally horrible.
That was better. That one thing that you just did was better than the whole movie combined.
You're killing me.
No.
And I love musicals. I love musicals. I wanted to love it because it was a musical. And I felt like my ears were bleeding and I didn't understand. Then he sang the song, a whole song about his wife being an old girl. I was like, how are you still alive? I would have strangled that man. And then the separate beds, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That would have been right too.
Everything had to be separate beds.
I know.
So I'm going to give my opinion here because I am a big musical fan, old musicals, new musicals, and all this stuff. Now, these two guys who did this musical also did the Pajama Games, which I mentioned earlier that I did not like. My least favorite part of this movie was the music. And while the song Lola can be fantastic, and some of the other songs are recognizable, the music isn't what I love. I don't love their musicals I love more than this one, but there's something about this movie that I can't not like. Like I have to like it. There's something. Now the Pajama Game I never want to watch again, but these two guys, they were successful, but their musicals, the music didn't catch me. And I love 50s musicals. I will watch Oklahoma. I'll watch King and I. I'll watch Roger and Hammerstein, Roger and Hart. name it. I'll even watch The Music Man, and a lot of people don't like The Music Man. I love old musicals. And I love golden era movies, and they are very misogynistic. There's a lot of movies that have things like Old Girl. That is so common, is horrifying. There's so much misogyny in this old stuff that you have to sort of go, okay, I'm going to be watching this. What else can I see? I enjoy watching this movie partly because of Jean Stapleton, Edith Bunker, because she cracks me up every time she comes on the screen. I love watching it. I don't think Fosse's dance moves mesh with every part of this. Some of his moves just are a little bizarre, like that zombie thing that Gwen Verdon does when she's doing the Lola thing, where she's going back and forth, and I'd laugh every time. So some of that dancing did not work for me, but some of it did. So I just, there's something about this movie that just I enjoy. Not my favorite musical. So that's where I'm at with this.
I have to admit again, as a danseur in the ballet and someone who studied dance, what really struck me the most was the club scene when they're drinking. I loved that. I did, however, think I liked some of the moves when Lola is doing her tribute to Joe, but I don't know why they're doing that mambo number, which is weird. Like, what is that?
Funny if you're 7.
Sometimes the moves are weird and sometimes they fit here, don't they? It's like, it's kind of weird. It's maybe early Fosse, and maybe Fosse doesn't really blend well with this. Fosse's style blended great with Stephen Schwartz's Pippin and all that jazz, and Chicago really like sparkled there, but maybe it didn't completely blend here. I don't know, but Fosse's amazing. I love Fosse. So
Fosse's great. I mean, he was a real jerk in real life, but he was great. And you know what? It's not a documentary. It is not a biography about him, but I love all that jazz. I have to kind of sometimes skip through to the music, but I love all that jazz. And it is so very accurately depicting his own life that he was dealing with in Chicago, and his divorce and his own daughter, even though it was supposed to be really fiction.
Oh.
All right.
Are you okay, Patti?
No, I'm fine. My 7-year-old is hurting. My 8-year-old is hurting. My 9-year-old is crying. My 10-year-old is going to go hide in her room.
No, I would have watched it over and over when I was younger too, just because it was a musical. I mean, I'll watch any musical except the Pajama
I
King.
was raised on musical. My mom was a musical theater actor. I know I could sing every musical. Too bad I can't sing like you can, but I can sing every musical. And I don't know, that one, it must have hit me at that age that I don't care if the little kids were singing the thing and the cryers, the grown up, it was perfect. And I watched it as that child yesterday, and it was perfect. Richard-Lael, have you given all your comments yet?
Well, maybe not. I mean, I will tell you this. Okay, so is it my favorite? No, it's not my favorite. I feel like that it was under dramatized. I really would have liked it to have, I would like there to have been a little bit more conflict. I would have really loved for there to have been actual consequences. In the original Faust story by Goethe, in the story, Dr. Faustus he has been turned young, and he goes about, he's attracted to this young woman, and he seduces her and then manipulates her, and then he ends up by leaving her when she's pregnant, and then the child dies and she ends up in an asylum. And in the end, she her own self is fighting between falling into evil and accepting righteousness. And as it closes out, she hears the angels singing who are coming to carry her home because she has rejected the devil. Now, where I'm a diabolist. I don't believe in the literal devil per se, but I like that sort of moral dichotomy, that that says, be careful not to go too far. Be careful what you ask for. In this one, there were no repercussions. He not only called his wife old girl, but he abandoned her for months on end while he was masquerading as Hannibal Joe, Shoeless Joe from Hannibal Moe. He was masquerading, and he only thought of her a couple of times, like, oh, I'll go and stay in her house so I can keep an eye on her, but I'll be gone every couple of weeks anyway. And okay, so she's miserable and she's sleeping on the couch next to my chair, but okay, you know what? I'm still playing baseball. And then, of course, he gets that moment of, oh, you know what? I wish I were two people. Because he clearly, the character is lusting after Lola. I wish I were two people, but I'm married. So then he goes back and there's no repercussions. He is just welcomed back. And then the devil is so cartoonish and jumps up and down and stamps his feet. And then it's the end of the show. And I really wanted there to be some Aristotelian sense of balance in it. I wanted there to be I wanted there to be conflict. I wanted him to actually show that he was conflicted. I wanted him to fight, but he didn't, and there was no arc.
No, the whole aspect of this was all comedy. And that's what made it possible. That's what made it possible for her to dress. So the morality police of Hollywood at the time would only allow this type of thing if it was made to look ridiculous. It was made to look comedy. Comedy protects the audience. And I talk about this in my book, is comedy is a layer between the occult, something that could potentially be morally corrupt, or a woman's dancing moves, or anything that comedy makes it like, oh, that's just silly. It's not real. It's just silly. And so it gives a little bit of leniency and them able to push. So they can have the devil. They can have her dance like that. They can have her in the black lace. They can have a witch without explaining it or without the morality, because it's just comedy. It's just silly, kind of like just a cartoon. It's just, whatever. It's just a musical. So that's why we don't get that level of discussion in movies around any cult figures, whether it's the devil or starting in the 60s a little bit, when we start to see the merger and the questioning and society starts to blow up, we start to see occult subjects having more weight in terms of morality and ethics and everything like that. And then, of course, more and more more recently, we see in the last 10, 15 years. But in the 50s, not so much. Most witches are played. Female witches are more allegories for what women should not do, how they should behave and should not behave. That's what you see prior to that. And most male witches are played for comedy. You don't see a male witch is a joke. There's no such thing. I mean, you think of Bell Book and Candle, which came out in 1958, which Courtney needs to see, even though it's a 50s movie. It's fantastic. Jimmy Stewart is so wonderful, Courtney. Oh my God, it's totally different. It's so good. But we won't make you watch it anytime soon, maybe in a couple weeks.
Can't wait to rip that one to shreds. My favorite.
Oh,
I don't love the 50s. I don't love. There's, what I dislike so much about the 50s is a carryover from the 40s. Nothing is so distinct. It's not, this is the 20s and this is the 30s and this is like everything sort of blends together, and it's this sort of, in the 20th century you have women of the early 1920s getting rid of the long skirts and getting rid of shaving their armpits and voting and smoking and driving cars. These are things that they couldn't do. And then with the depression of the 30s, we have to get back to God, and the necklines got higher and the hemlines got lower and the sleeves got longer. And then in the 40s, all the men were gone, and the women were starting to now, we can work in this. We can work in the field, and we can do these things. We can still be beautiful and glamorous, but we can work. We can do these things. And then the 50s, it was just, everything was sort of McCarthyism, and it was masquerading, and they wanted this perfect sort of robotic.
Mm-hmm.
And I just the 50s make me nauseous. Excepting for I do love Invasion of the Saucer Men. That is a hill I will die on. Frank Gorshin, the Riddler. Oh my God, this is Invasion of the Saucer Men. You wouldn't like it, Courtney, because it's about aliens. But
No, sure wouldn't.
Saucer Man is so good.
I have to watch that one because I've seen so many 50s science fiction films, but I can't think of that one.
I can't say that.
But I do want to say is exactly what you just played out, Richard-Lael, is exactly one of the threads in my book. And I can show exactly what you're talking about with witch films, which is what in the most interesting thing you said there, or no, everything was interesting that you said, of course. But one of the things you said is that going from the 20s where women were, there it is, Invasion of the Saucer Men. Oh, that's fabulous.
I'm going to have nightmares for the rest of my life, Rob. Take that down. Now Rob's getting hexed.
But it's so good. It's so good. Courtney, you would not be scared of it. But anyway, go ahead, Heather.
I'm scared of ET, okay? You underestimate this.
All right. I'm missing Jason. We love you, Jason, wherever you are. Do we have quotes on this beautiful film?
Oh, do we? Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
I'm looking forward to this.
Let me
We know a girl is going to be in there.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Joe, you're going to get yourself a heart attack if you keep this up, or ulcers. Great. Good night, old girl. I thought I was going to die. I'm handy with fire. Okay. Yeah, me too. I'm quite a famous character, Mr. Boyd. I have historical significance too. And then when the ladies were talking about going to ladies' day at the game, I had the poorest hot dog I ever had. The devil says, an amusing little stunt. It was all the rage in the Middle Ages. Wives, they caused me more trouble than the Methodist Church.
That's so true. That's true. That's
true. My God. Oh, this is the part I almost lost my mind. I screamed out loud. There was witnesses. I just saw that comment, the horror at Party Beach. I would love to know what that is. He's doing the crossword puzzle, the baseball guy, and he's like, what's a 3-letter word for a sticky substance? And the guy is chewing gum and he's like, and then the other guy says, spit. Like, please. Okay. That was the worst joke I've ever heard in my whole life.
It wasn't a joke. It was a dumb baseball player. I'm 7.
What is a sticky substance that is 3 letters?
He's a dumb baseball player.
No. Spit. It's the okay, I'm not gonna. Never mind. I have a dirty mind like Richard-Lael. So thank you. That's you can't trust any newspaper woman. That when he kicks his foot and he's like, oh, my hoof. They're talking about her husband's loves baseball. Oh, a big fanatic. Every night in front of the television set, you see that big old slob sitting there. And then he asks Lola, have a nice trip? And she said, perfect. The plane crashed in Cleveland. And she says, when they lose, there will be suicides and heart attacks and apoplexy, just like the good old days. And then he says, there isn't a home wrecker on my staff better than you, Lola. And that was it. That was it. Those are my quotes. No, don't clap because it was painful. Thank you. It was painful to relive that.
How could this movie be painful?
Let me count the ways.
We can watch Pajama Game and then we can really all experience musical pain. That one's terrible.
Can we put a witch in it? Is there a witch in it?
No, there's no witches in it, and it's just painful.
I don't think I've seen it, actually. Weirdly.
Well, you go ahead and report back. Watch it and report back. You might love it. If you love their music, you might love it. It's the same guys that did it. And it was successful, hugely successful. I think Doris Day's in it.
Okay. I will have to watch it.
Yeah.
I've got a thing about musicals like you, though. And again, I still cannot watch this as a grown-up woman. I just won't ever, never. Ooh, Rock Hudson. Okay, anyway, okay, Jason didn't send us anything, did he? We don't
He
have.
did, I think.
He did? Oh,
Yeah, I
yes,
think
he
we have a
did.
video version.
We do
A
have
video
video version of it.
All right, virtually from outer space. Can we?
No, not outer
Invasion of the
space.
Saucer Men.
Not outer space.
Saucerman. No.
At the show tonight, and it pains me to be away from everybody, especially my beloved Coven, and on Heather's birthday, no less. But being away has me thinking about the other regulars on this show. So I thought I'd say a few words about all of them and get all mushy and stuff. Patti, of course, is our leader and high priestess. None of this show exists without her. And if you are in awe of Patti because she's famous, just know that she's even cooler and nicer off camera. Courtney Buckley is our heart. I like to call her Your Highness myself and then make a Killing Tree joke. Richard-Lael is our wit and our snark. He's the funniest person on this show, bar none, and also the best dresser. We didn't really find our way on the Witches Movie Coven until Richard-Lael and Courtney came on board. And of course that leaves me with the birthday girl herself, Heather Greene. Heather is our lodestone. She's the expert who takes the rest of us to the promised land of witch movies week in and week out. Without Heather, we would all be stranded in a wilderness completely lacking in witches, or at least witch movies. Heather is one of the most brilliant people I know, and while I love all of our coven, Heather and I have been friends for a really long time and have gone down a lot of different roads together. Some good, some bad. Happy birthday, Ms. Greene, queen of the movie witches. And now that my sentimental stuff is all out of the way, we should probably get to the funny part, the Mankey Movie Minute. But before I start, I should just share with you that I'm actually a bit of a sports nut. I put on my favorite jersey. This is a Pittsburgh Steelers jersey. My wife, of course, is a football widow from September to January every year. And I watch most other sports too. Go Giants. That's a baseball team. For those of you who don't know who play in San Francisco. I've dreamed about doing a sports movie on this show for years. But instead of telling you about it tonight, I thought I would sing about it. All right. I've been waiting for almost 2 years to do a sports movie for some cheers or some jeers. And then we finally get to review one. But the sports content is mostly none. Only on a show for witches would our sports movie be a musical. Not a stirring drama, but something more acoustical. Baseball's the setting, but there's mostly high stepping. It's all full of song and dance, those jocks never had a chance. And of all the sports, it's baseball to boot. My least favorite sport to cheer or to root. The Senators aren't even a team anymore, and the idea of the Yankees just leaves me sore. Only on a show for witches would our sports movie be a musical. Hail the conquering victor, no, I'm playing with my cuticle. Did he just score a run? Who knows, but the song has begun. Whatever Lola wants, she gets, but FanDuel's not taking any bets. Sports and witchcraft are such strange bedfellows, and my love of football makes other witches bellow. I shouldn't be surprised that this is as close as we'll come. Sports and the craft feel like a party of just one. Me, I'm the party of one. Only on a show for witches would our sports movie be a musical. No fights or tackles, just something more acoustical. My song is so silly, I'm just gilding the lily. Damn those Yankees, this movie made me one cheering Mankey. Happy birthday, Heather. I miss you all, and I'll see everybody next week. I hope that wasn't too terrible.
Yay!
That was awesome. Yay, Jason.
Hey, Jason. That was perfect.
Can I jump in here real quick? Someone asked who the witch was in this movie. Patti, who is the witch in this movie?
Who was the witch in this movie?
Lola.
Yes, of course. Oh,
Someone asked on the thing. Someone I saw. So actually,
Lola.
Mary Jane Kane, who was the witch in this movie?
That. It's like, yeah, Lola was the witch.
Yeah,
Of course she was, because she's
300-year-old witch that made a pact with the devil.
not ugly. She's not ugly. She's a Broadway actress, dancer, singer. Richard-Lael. You
Right.
over-enunciate
She's not ugly.
Broadway.
She's waiting for her close-up,
All right.
Mr. DeMille.
Lola was the beautiful witch. Well, they had to make it funny, right, Heather? I didn't know that sex would get taken away with comedy, so they couldn't make her sexy. So if they make those faces, they got away with it, right? Right. That's what Heather just taught us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reality is when they talk about this movie, they talk about it that they did try to make it close to the stage show. So it was more like anyone who's done stage and done film knows that this was a lot of the acting was very meant for stage.
Sorry.
They didn't tone it back. I think some of you said that already.
She's not ugly, she's constipated.
And she was supposed to be this young, attractive, sexy woman, and she was old enough to be Tab Hunter's mother.
She was.
Or at least older aunt, you know?
Yeah.
Her mother's younger sister.
Well, you know what? If they had actually used the actor who did it on Broadway, there might not have been a problem with that. But they made it. But Tab Hunter, they did this for Tab Hunter and threw him in there and kept the rest of the cast, and so you have a problem. He did okay. Tab Hunter held his own.
He did okay. It was okay.
Yeah. He had a successful #1 musical hit after a top 40 that knocked Elvis off the charts or something like that. He was super popular at the time.
All right. Well, we have one thing to do, and that is to vote. Wands out, everybody. All right. I'm watching all of you. Damn Yankees. Wands up, wands down. Up, up, down, neutral. Up. Okay, everybody, you guys have to break this non-tie tie because it's up. We've got
okay, fine.
Wands up. Yes.
Come on.
Wands up.
Wait a minute, Richard-Lael. You did not hate this movie.
I didn't mind it.
It's a brilliant movie. Wands up.
Neutral.
Those damn Yankees.
Those damn Yankees.
That's
All
right.
right. All right. So what are we doing next week? Do we
Oh,
Wands up.
my goodness.
Best movie ever.
Up for Heather, it's her birthday.
Up for Heather for her birthday.
Yay! For me for my birthday.
I'm
Well,
waiting
for that. I didn't have it out, so give me 1 second while I look up our movie for next week so we can announce that.
I have my sunglasses ready in case I'm concerned.
Oh, yes, this is a good one. Everyone get ready. Something very different. Are you ready? Eve's Bayou.
All right, I'll give that a chance.
I don't think I'm going to be here.
Eve's Bayou is very, very different than what we watched tonight. It's brilliant. No, I didn't say that. You don't know how I'm going to react.
You have no idea. You're as unbiased as I am.
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Completely unbiased. It's like the news. I like the news. I don't know what the news
You don't know.
all right. I'm looking at my calendar right now. I think I'm going to be on a plane coming back from New York next week, but I'll watch it anyway. So you guys have to carry the fort yourself. All of you.
We will do so.
Yes, you will.
And we will miss you.
Yeah.
Very much.
All right. So does anybody have anything they're coming up that they want to talk about? Silence.
Whatever Lola wants,
We can see.
Lola gets.
Well, I'll talk about Mystic South because that's coming up. We've got almost a month left. And it's July 25th, 26th, 27th, I think. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days. Visit us. We have wonderful workshops that's coming up. I will be there. There it is, 26, 27, 28th, a day off. I will be there. I'm doing 2 workshops, of course, my haunted dolls and puppets, and also what is a witch? And you might see Lola appear in that workshop. What exactly is a witch? I use her all the time in my workshops on witches and movies. And then I have Charles Oz. That's not till September, but ticket sales for some of the events, like hearing Gregory Maguire speak, go on sale on June 10th. So if you're going to go be in Charlotte in the end of September, please come to Charles Oz, all thing Wizard of Oz. Yay! And I will be speaking there on Wizard of Oz movies.
Beautiful. Thank you. Courtney.
That's me. I don't have anything coming up yet, but keep your eyes peeled. Maybe we'll have some Scared and Alone soon. I'm holding out for that. Keep my nights clear.
And
So
Courtney
that's
is going to be actually watching Invasion of the Saucer Men too. So
No,
we're
I
excited for that,
surely.
because she's gonna love it. She's gonna love
No.
the.
I have an idea. We can do some kind of live. We should do some kind of live thing where you guys, whoever wants to join, traumatizes me with alien movies, and you can just watch my face as I watch them, and then never sleep again because I will.
You would
Oh
really
my God, Rob, take it off!
But Courtney, you would really like this one. Like, this is one of the funniest things you can ever see. Frank Gorshin, and the aliens have this thing where they attack with these claws with like nettles in them.
I
But
feel like
the
my
only
throat.
thing that they do is make you drunk. And
Okay.
so they've invaded and attacked this cow, and then the farmer thinks that all of these kids that are out necking have made his cow drunk to make him upset. And then of course there's one hiding in the back seat.
No, I
and
can't even sit
he
still.
slams
Like,
the door and the hand crawls across. I mean,
no, absolutely not.
A group screening of something would be fabulous, Courtney. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Invasion of Body Snatchers.
A road trip. Invite all of our friends. Yes, we're gonna have like a weekend away with the coven. Yes. Richard-Lael, you have anything coming up that you want to talk about?
Yes.
Or anything you want to talk about at all?
Sure. Well, I do have a few things coming up. Not just my lunch, but I do. I will be actually in Dallas on the 20th through the weekend. I don't remember what. I'll be I'll tell you next week. I'll be at some antique store. I can't remember where I'll be reading some cards. I'm also anywhere that good gentlemen psychics are sold. You know, there are some fakes out there, but you can find me at University Magicus. Also, you can find me on where's the little thing we have the QR codes for what we sell. I don't know. You can buy a pillow. That I think that's the pillow stuff that you can buy there. Mystery Control or whatever that is. Code Patti 25% off, and that's what I have.
That's a Mr. Applegate pillow.
That's a Mr.
That is a Mr. Applegate.
That is a Mr. Applegate. So thank
I
you.
have one.
We have not been talking enough about Mystery Control and our merch. Cups and saucers and shirts and quotes and more quotes and other quotes and cloaks and pillows. Code Patti, 25% off on everything, including power panties. Nothing for the New York Yankees, though. You'll have to get that from NewYorkYankees.com. I won't get to advertise them. I too have
We should be at WellCon next Wednesday.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, Llewellyn Con is a free event that Llewellyn does, and there are, I think, 3 to 4 authors a day. You just have to sign up. Go on to Llewellyn.com. You can see the sign up there. You put in, you get your spaces, you get a spot for the event, and then you can go watch the various people. Jason will be one of them. He's talking about Ray Buckland, as he always says, and there's just a huge amount of wonderful authors. Some of them are mine that will be there speaking about many different witchy topics and new age topics and spiritual and occult topics. So you can pick and choose. It's a 2-week event. So go online to Llewellyn.com and find the things you love and go watch great authors speak.
Great authors speak. Thank you. I am going to be this weekend in Ventura at Ventura South Coast Paracon doing a seance and ghost hunts. Sunday, I'm leaving for New York. I'm doing a book launch with a group book that I'm doing on intuition. We're going to be doing book signings at Barnes & Noble in New York and New Jersey and some TV. I'm going to be actually on probably 3 seconds. A billboard in Times Square.
No way!
Just me. There's like 20 of us. Me. Should I bring Philip? Maybe. Me.
Bring
Yes.
Philip without his Yankee shirt.
So that's this week, this next coming week, and I'm going to post where everything is. The next week I'm going to be home breathing. The next week we're doing the launch in Los Angeles. Again, Barnes & Noble book signings, TV, red carpets, all sorts of crazy fun things. And then I'm home for an entire month, and I'm really, really happy because I haven't seen my husband and my dog and my goat and my cat in a really long time. And yes, and then August it takes off again. I do have a rare LA seance in a theater in Santa Clarita, Hot Summer Sizzle seance, August 2. I will be in New Orleans for Hex Fest the 9th through 11th. I will be in Michigan Paracon the 22nd through the 25th. That's all for August. And then I am off to the UK for a tour of the Weird and Worms, a real witchy tour all over the UK. And the rest you just have to go to my website and find, because I can't remember it. I can't remember it yet. I did yesterday, and I can't remember what I'm going to do next. But come join us everywhere, you guys. I want to thank you guys. You are the best coven I've ever had, even if you don't know your movie sometimes, because this is the best movie ever. If you were 7 and you were discovering music and musicals, and your dad was a baseball fan, and Lola was the sexiest thing you've ever said because she made funny faces. Okay. All right. It is 7 o'clock. Are we going to sing happy birthday? Are we going to cackle? Are we going to say whatever Heather wants, Heather gets? What are we going to do?
Oh, whatever Heather wants, Heather gets.
We'll sing it. We'll sing it.
No, I can't sing.
I cannot sing it alone. Richard-Lael, whatever.
Don't sing. Don't sing. How about we just cackle?
Whatever Heather wants. Oh, yeah.